Hi everyone, my name is Alex, and I'm a 28-year-old graphic designer living in a small suburb outside Seattle. I've been in this cozy one-bedroom apartment for about 2 years now. It's nothing fancy, just a ground-floor unit in an old building with creaky wooden floors and big windows that let in plenty of light during the day. I work from home most days, hunched over my laptop in the living room, designing logos and websites for clients. My routine is pretty simple. Wake up at 7 a.m., make coffee, check emails, work until lunch, maybe take a walk around the block, then back to work until dinner. Evenings are for Netflix or reading, and I hit the bed around 11 p.m. It's quiet here, which I love. No loud neighbors, just the occasional car passing by on the street outside. But lately, things have felt a little off. It's hard to explain. Like, sometimes when I'm making breakfast, I'll get this weird chill down my spine, as if the air in the kitchen is colder than it should be. I'd shrug it off, thinking it's just the draft from the old windows. Or during my afternoon walks, I'd notice the neighborhood seems strangely silent. No birds chirping, no kids playing, even on sunny days. It made me pause and look around, but everything looked normal. Once or twice, I'd catch a glimpse of something in my peripheral vision. A shadow maybe? But when I'd turn, nothing was there. I told myself it was my imagination, probably from staring at screens too long. My friends would laugh if I mentioned it. Alex, you're just paranoid from all those horror movies, my best friend Sarah said over coffee one weekend. She's right. I do love a good scare, but this felt different. Subtle, like the apartment was holding its breath. Then, one evening last month, I decided to install a security camera. Nothing high-tech, just a cheap indoor one from Amazon that I set up in the living room, pointing toward the front door and kitchen. I figured it would give me peace of mind, especially since I'd been hearing faint creaks at night that sounded like footsteps on the floorboards. Old building, right? That night, after setting it up, I went to bed as usual. But the next morning, when I checked the app on my phone, there was a clip from 2 a.m. It showed the living room empty, lights off, everything still. Except, in the corner, by the hallway leading to my bedroom, there was a faint outline, like a person standing there just watching. It was blurry, could have been a shadow from the streetlight, but it made my heart skip. Was someone there? Or was it nothing? I replayed it a few times, zooming in, but couldn't tell. Shaking it off, I deleted the clip and went about my day. Little did I know, that was just the beginning. As the days went on, those little odd feelings started turning into real signs that something was wrong. It began small, like finding my coffee mug moved from the counter to the table when I swore I'd left it by the sink. I'd blame it on being forgetful, but then my keys disappeared from the hook by the door, only to show up in the fridge hours later. Weird, right? I started double-checking locks every night, but nothing seemed amiss. Then the staring started. Not from outside, from inside. I'd be working at my desk, and suddenly feel eyes on me. I'd spin around, heart pounding, but the room was empty. One afternoon, I got a random text from an unknown number. Nice shirt today. I was wearing my blue hoodie, the one I only wear at home. I texted back, "Who is this?" No reply. I blocked the number, but that night, my phone rang at 3 a.m. Same unknown caller. I didn't answer, but the voicemail was just heavy breathing. Then a whisper, "I'm close." My stomach dropped. Was this a prank? I called Sarah, but she said, "Probably spam. Change your number." Easy for her to say. She didn't live alone. Footsteps came next. Soft thuds in the hallway when I was in bed, like someone pacing. I'd freeze under the covers, listening, but they'd stop just as I gathered courage to check. Once, I thought I heard breathing outside my bedroom door. Slow, ragged. I grabbed my phone and called the police non-emergency line, but they said without evidence, they couldn't do much. Install cameras, the officer suggested. I already had one, but now I added another in the hallway. The being followed part hit when I left the apartment. On my walks, I'd sense someone behind me. I'd glance back and see a figure in the distance, hood up, but when I'd stop at a corner, they'd vanish. At the grocery store, I caught someone staring from the next aisle, Tall, shadowy, gone when I looked again. My coworker on a video call noticed I seemed jumpy. "You okay, Alex?" I told him about the weird stuff, but he laughed. "Sounds like you're writing a story."
Relax, man.
It all built up until one evening. I came home to find a note slipped under my door. "I know where you sleep." My address was scribbled on it in shaky handwriting. They hadn't just watched. They touched my door. Been right there. I barricaded myself in, camera apps open, heart racing. Who was this? And how long had they been so close? I didn't sleep that night. Every creak sounding like an invasion. It happened on a stormy Friday night. The kind where rain lashes the windows and thunder shakes the walls. I'd been on edge all week, barely leaving the apartment. That evening, I tried to unwind with a movie, but the power flickered from the wind outside. Around midnight, I headed to bed, double-checking the locks and cameras. The living room one showed nothing, just my empty couch and the dark hallway. I climbed under the covers, phone in hand, but sleep wouldn't come. The rain drummed steadily, masking other sounds. Then a soft click, like a door latch. My eyes snapped open. Was it the front door? I held my breath, listening. Silence, then footsteps. Slow, deliberate, padding down the hallway toward my room. Thud, thud. My heart hammered in my chest, so loud I thought it would give me away. I sat up, shaking, grabbing the baseball bat from under the bed. The shadows in my room seemed deeper, twisting in the dim light from the window. The footsteps stopped outside my door. I stared at the knob, watching it jiggle slightly, as if someone was testing it. My breathing came in short gasps. I clamped a hand over my mouth to stay quiet. A shadow shifted under the door crack, feet, standing there, waiting. What if they pushed in? The door wasn't locked. I'd forgotten in my rush. Panic surged through me, my hands trembling on the bat. Minutes dragged like hours. I heard scratching now, nails on wood, slow and deliberate, like they were tracing the doorframe. My mind raced. Call 911? But if I spoke, they'd hear. The shadow moved. A hand, pressing against the door, creaked open an inch. I froze, seeing a sliver of the hallway. Darkness, then eyes, peering in, unblinking. My whole body shook. Sweat beaded on my forehead. The door inched wider, 2 inches, 3. A pale hand gripped the edge, knuckles white that I couldn't take it. "Who's there?" I whispered, voice cracking. The hand paused. Thunder boomed outside, lightning flashing, illuminating a face in the gap. Hollow eyes, gaunt cheeks, staring right at me. My scream stuck in my throat. I swung the bat wildly, lunging forward. The door slammed shut just as I reached it, the figure vanishing. I yanked it open, bat raised, empty hallway. Rain pounded harder. I checked every room, lights on, but no one. The cameras? I grabbed my phone. The hallway feed showed a blur darting away. Into the vents?
No, impossible.
But the living room clip caught it. A person crawling out from under my couch, standing, then heading to my door. They'd been inside all along. Hiding. I barricaded the door and called the cops, sobbing. By the time they arrived, the intruder was gone, disappeared into the night like a ghost. The police came that night, flashing lights cutting through the rain. They searched the apartment, found no forced entry, but dusted for prints. "Looks like they might have been squatting in your crawl space or vents," the officer said, pointing to a loose grate in the hallway I'd never noticed. My stomach churned. How long? Days? Weeks? They took my camera's footage, the note, and phone records. Turns out the texts traced to a burner phone, untraceable. No arrests, but they suggested I move. I did, crashing with Sarah for a week before finding a new place downtown, with better security and no ground floor. I told my family everything. My mom cried. Dad wanted to fly out. At work, I quit freelancing from home and took an office job, needing people around. No more solo routines. But I've changed. I'm paranoid now, always checking locks 3 times, scanning rooms before entering, jumping at every shadow. Walks? Forget it. I Uber everywhere. Sleep is fitful. I wake up sweating, convinced someone's watching. Therapy helps a bit, but the fear lingers like a scar. A month later, settled in the new apartment, I thought it was over. Until one morning, checking my mail, I found an envelope with no stamp, just my new address handwritten. Inside, a photo of me sleeping in my old bed, time-stamped from before the incident. My blood ran cold. How? Who sent it? I reported it, but the police said it could be a copycat or coincidence. But I know better. That night, I heard faint footsteps outside my window, gone when I looked. Sometimes I wonder if he's still out there, waiting. Or worse, what if he never really left? What if he's found a way into this new place too? Hiding, watching, just biding his time.